Hello and welcome back to the channel. Thanks for watching. I thought I'd break up the monotony of camouflage by just doing a bit of a one-off model. This is one that you can get from Games Workshop. I think they give them out for free. Basically, it's like a taster session, if you like. I think you can get a Space Marine and also this one, which is a Stormcast Eternal. They're pretty much free. I mean, you can go in there and express your interest in the hobby, and they have a load of these things knocking about. I'm not sure if they've got this exact one anymore, because this is quite an older one that I picked up months and months ago. I mean, I can't even remember when I got it. But I thought we'd just construct it. You might be something that you're interested in looking along with. Yeah, so let's crack it open and see what we actually get in it, and take it from there. So it comes in a little bag, and you can see there you've got a sprue and a cardboard box on the inside. I'm guessing that's for putting it in when you make it. I think Games Workshop like to encourage you to construct them in store. However, I think if you just go in and ask for you say you're interested but you haven't got time or whatever, I'm sure they'd let you take it away, because they did with me, so I can't imagine why they wouldn't. So like I said, it comes in a little bag. So let's tear that open and see what we've got inside. So they're all sealed down. Very easy to open. You don't need a knife or anything. You just rip it open. And inside you have the sprue, the little box, and a little information leaflet. So let's have a look at the information leaflet first. So this is called Battle Honours. Now I believe this is like a sort of paint along, hobby along session that Games Workshop run. So it's worth going down there. I mean, just nip into your local store. I find my one very friendly, very helpful. I get a lot of paints from there. And I also do paint Warhammer, not just bolt action, although my favourite's bolt action, but I do a lot of other stuff as well. And yeah, so let's just see how we get on with this one then. And on the back, you can see you got the choice. You can either have an introduction to Warhammer. I think you can do Space Marines on one, and then the other one is Stormcast. It's depending on what your particular favourite is. One's 40k and one's called Age of Sigmar. I quite like Age of Sigmar. It's a bit fantasy world, but it's quite nice. It's good. So what else do we get? Well, we get the actual sprue itself. And if we look, you've got a textured base there already made, a scenic base. You've got a shield for your Stormcast, and then all your different bits. So if we just flip that over, you can see that it's push fit. Okay, so Games Workshop do a lot of push kit stuff. It's good because it's good for beginners, and if you've got youngsters in the family who want to get into the hobby, it's good for them because they can just push it together. You don't need any glue to stick them together. They're done. They can spray it, or they can undercoat it, paint it, boom, done. So in that respect, it's quite good. For putting them together, it's not so good. I'm not a fan of push fit miniatures, but as we construct this, I'll show you how I deal with it and how I get around it. So that's the sprue. You also get a little card that comes with it. So this one is a Vindictor. It's a stat card. I think you can use it in the game, I'm sure. I don't really play Age of Sigmar, but it's quite nice there. And apparently that's called a Staunch Defender. But like I said, I don't play AOS, I don't play 40k, but I do paint it. So yeah, the little stat card. You then get your little cardboard box. I mean, like I said before, I think Games Workshop like you to do it in store, but you can pop that open and it makes you a little box so you can carry your figure home when you've completed it. And you've got the Stormcast one side, and then the other model that you can choose is a Space Marine. So let's crack on with actually constructing this little fella. Like I said, he's from AOS. He's a Stormcast Eternal, so it's pretty easy. You don't get instructions, but you don't need them really. It's pretty self-explanatory what bits go where. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to cut all the bits off the sprue, and then we'll go through it and I'll show you how I deal with the pegs in the push fit, because I'm not a big fan, like I said. So let's crack on with that. So before we get underway, I just wanted to give you a quick rundown of the tools that we'll be using today. They're very basic stuff. I mean, it's like I said, it's a push fit kit really, but we won't be push fitting it today. I'll show you how I deal with it. So starting from the back, we've got two different types of glue. You don't have to use these. You can use any glue you want, but it is a plastic kit, so it will need plastic glue. So you can see the blue one there is just like plastic cement, and the other one is Tamiya Extra Thin. Equally good, both of them. Tamiya Extra Thin, excellent. Can't fault it. Use it on everything really these days. Then I've got a nail file which I borrowed from my wife. I'm sure she'll want that back at some point, or maybe not. Then we've got a scalpel for trimming bits, cleaning off mold lines, etc. And then we've got a pair of clippers, which is from removing the parts from the sprue. And that's pretty much all we'll be using on this project. Okay, so I've removed all the pieces from the sprue, and I'll just go through them so you know what they are. This bit here is the sort of body. This is one of the parts of the body. You've then got a leg with a head attached, which obviously will fit in, and I'll show you how to do that. Shoulder pauldron, chest piece with chainmail skirt, and then that's the reverse chainmail skirt there, the back side of it, and a spear, an arm with a spear on it, and a shield. So not too many parts to this model, and not surprising considering it's Games Workshop's kind of like taster session into the hobby. But you will notice that I haven't cut the base off the sprue yet. Now I wanted to go through that with you, because if you're new to the hobby or you're not sure, then there's a few things that might help. Now, Games Workshop is an amazing company in as much as the casts that they are doing nowadays are amazing. You know, they're not the world leader for nothing. They're just top class. You can't fault them. But you don't want to damage those pieces when you're cutting them off. So I just want to show you how I do it, and how probably other people do it as well. Now, the clippers that I'm going to use today are these ones. Now, these are not a brilliant set of clippers. These are just cheap ones that I bought offline. You can get some excellent clippers, and there's lots of companies out there that do very good clippers, much better than this, but they all share a similar characteristic. They've all got a flat edge, which you can see there, and they've also got like a beveled edge the other side. Now, when we're clipping stuff from the sprue, we want to get this straight edge as towards the piece that we're cutting off, if that makes sense. Not right up against it, because we want to leave a little bit of the sprue connector on there, and then we can trim that off later, and that saves damaging the parts of your precious little model that you've bought. So okay, so I'll just show you on the base, and then that's self-explanatory. So we have the base here, and as you can see, there are little connecting pin bits where the moulding is, how the moulding works. So we want to cut that off as close to that as we can, but not really close, because it will damage the piece. So get the clippers in and snip, and just make your way around all the other pin points on the model, taking them off as you go. You then have the base to join the rest of the parts. Now we're going to go through the process of cleaning that up, and I'll come back and I'll show you how to do that in a minute. Okay, so we're going to start constructing this little fella. And like I said to you before, they are push fit kits, so they have like holes and plugs so that you can put them together. They're pretty straightforward, really, to be fair. I mean, you've got a chest plate, a back plate with a leg on it. Now, you can see that the corresponding pin would go into that hole. However, if you put that piece together first, you're not going to be able to get the head in. So you have to have it, test fit it first, or dry fit it if you're doing that. And that way it gives you a better idea of what goes where. So that you see, that goes in there first, and then the chest plate goes on the front. Like that. So if you did it the other way around, you wouldn't get the chest piece on. Then that encases that in there and holds it in place. So it's pretty straightforward. You may remember I said earlier that I don't like push fit, and I don't. They really are a pain. They don't locate always accurately enough for my liking. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to snip the peg off, and that will give us a much better fit. And then we'll glue it like that. That's how I deal with push fit kits, and many other people do as well. I'm not unique in that respect. If you are new to the hobby, then by all means use the push fit as they're intended. It's a great way to learn. It's a great way to start. But for me, the push fit isn't going to work. So I'm going to cut the pegs off. I'm going to start constructing him, and then we'll be back to see how the progress is. So I just thought I'd show you how I clean things up. Now, what I mean by clean things up is when you take things off the sprue, you'll be left with a little lug mark where the thing connected to the sprue. So you can see it's there, the point of the blade. Now you just get the blade and you just gently shave that off as much as you can, very carefully. And then you can use the flat of your blade to just go along and take off any seams that are left from casting, or people call them mould lines, seam lines. And it just smartens it up, makes it look very clean, ready for painting. Because once we start painting and putting washes on this thing, if you leave any seam lines or casting marks or anything, they'll show up like nobody's business. So it's best to try and clean it up now at the prep stage and get it all ready to go. Just a quick point, while I was gluing this, I'll just tell you, when you're using Tamiya Extra Thin, it uses capillary action to travel around the joins and whatnot. On this one, I was pressing together the chest plate, and the glue followed the capillary action of my finger, and it left a lovely little fingerprint on there. So that's just something to be aware of and be careful of if you're using Tamiya Extra Thin. It does melt it. It made my fingerprint imprinted onto this guy's abdomen. I've tried to clean it up, and I've done an okay job, but try and avoid that if you can, because it will take the detail off and it will ruin a very good model. So just be careful of that. Schoolboy error, as they say, but there we go. So I just thought I'd mention that. And here we have the final model. It's all complete, all stuck together, and I've mounted it on a cork for ease of handling for when you're going to paint it. So if we just have a quick look around the guy himself, I can get him into focus for you. Yep, there we go. So he's got a shield there, standing guard with his spear. You can see it's a pretty easy fit together, very few pieces. Oh, I've spotted something on his elbow, so I'd have to get some attention to that. So when you've finished it, it's a good idea to go around, just like I've seen there. I've seen a piece that it's like a connecting bit and needs filing and sorting out. Not impossible to get to, so it's quite an easy place to get to. And it's just good to have a check that you've taken off all your mould lines, all your connecting pieces where it's connected to the sprue, just to make sure. Give you one last look round, just to make sure. Now we're going to go away and prime this, and I think we'll paint it in the traditional box art, which is like a goldy colour with blue. There's lots of different colour schemes you can do for these guys. I forget what they're called. There's different factions and whatnot, but they're all Stormcast, but they've all got like different regiments or whatever they're called. I don't know what they're called because I don't play the game. But we'll do this one as in the box art, which is sort of golden blues. And we'll make a start on that as soon as I've primed it. So this is the model primed. I've done it with Halfords Grey Primer in the UK. Halfords is a car company, but they do like car accessories and bits like that if you're in the US and you don't know what Halfords is, or anywhere else for that matter. But Halfords Grey Primer is a really good primer. It covers all the plastic and metal bits that you may or may not use. And then what I've done here, I've gone in with a white zenithal from around about 45-degree angle, hitting the top parts of the armour and anywhere that would catch the light. Really, that when we paint it, that will make it a bit brighter on those areas, just to give it a sort of an under highlight. If you don't know what zenithal highlighting is, then there's loads of videos on YouTube about how to do it much better than what I could explain. So there we go. That is our Stormcast, all ready for painting. Okay guys, I've now put the first coat down on, well, the first 2 coats down actually on this guy. I've started off by using Retributor Armour, which is a nice gold colour, just good for the old Stormcasts. After I've done that, I've let it dry, then I've put down a coat of Contrast, which is Guilliman's Flesh, all over the whole thing. It just gives it a little bit of shadow, gives it some depth. And the next stage will be to highlight it a little bit, and we're going to dry brush that. So I'll come back once I've done that. So I've highlighted the gold with a dry brush. So you can go as heavy or as light on this as you want, depending on what sort of look you're looking for. I've gone for a very subtle dry brush on that. And what I've used there is a mix of Retributor Armour and Stormhost Silver. They're both Citadel paints. Just very little Stormhost, because Stormhost Silver is so bright that you just really don't need an awful lot in there. It's not a 50-50 mix, it's just a mix that looks about right. There's no set ratio to it. So that's that complete. Just give you a quick look round on that. So the next step is to block in all the other colours on there, like you've got the seal that hanging down there off of his side. The sword scabbard, I'm going to paint a leathery colour and give it a coloured handle. The coloured handle is going to be the same colour as the handle of the spear. And then we've got another bit of metal work up there, and actually the blade itself. I think what I'm going to do with the blade is I'm going to maybe try and do a sort of a glowing blade to it, but I don't know yet. I don't know if I can be that adventurous. But that's basically the dry brush stage gone on that one. So that's how it's looking so far. If you are liking the video so far, please give me a like and hit that thumbs up button. If you want to subscribe, by all means do. And we'll come back in a minute and start blocking in the colours. Okay, so I've now put in all the colours, or laid down all the colours on the shield, on his pauldrons, on his shoulders, and also the undersuit that he wears underneath the armour. The scabbard is now brown, the belt is now brown, the staff of the spear is coloured. Now each colour has also had a wash on it of the appropriate colour. You can do it all in Agrax Earthshade if you want. Some of this has been done in Agrax, but others have been done in different colours, because I want to try and keep the blues a little bit vibrant. There's a lot of gold on this, so I wanted to try and break it up as much as I could. In the pictures, you've got the lightning coming off the shield and the lightning on his shoulder in white. Not sure if I'm going to do that yet. I quite like it looking gold, but we'll see how we go. As it goes, I'll just decide what I'm going to do with it. But that's it all shaded. The next step is to put the first level of highlight on, and you can leave it at that if you want. This is perfectly acceptable for tabletop, I would suggest. It's up to you. I'm going to go in with a layer of highlight, and then I should probably edge highlight everything, and then it's pretty much done. You don't want to waste too much time on this. Well, you can, but it's a standard model from Games Workshop. This is why I thought I'd give it a go. I'm going to do something with his eyes as well, and I'll do that. So I'm going to do all that, and then I'll come back and I'll show you what the finished article looks like. So this is the finished article. Like I said, I've done some highlights on it. I attempted to do the glowing eyes and glowing spear tip. I'm not very good at that. I'm not sure that I like how it's come out. However, just to show you, we can get it in focus. That's kind of like the spear tip. I've tried to make it glow a little bit. And same with his eyes. I've watched a couple of YouTube chat videos about glowing eyes and glowing swords, but I need to practice on that more. So as you can see there, he's the base has been painted. It's very simple. All I've done is painted it, dry brushed it with successive layers of lighter colours, both on the stonework and on the groundwork. Stuck a few tufts on there, giving it a dusting of pigments on the ground, on the earth. Painted the rim black. Job done as far as I'm concerned. These are only rank and file soldiers or Stormcast, so they're not. You can play it. You can put as much effort into it as you want, but it's a rank and file, so I put more time into a character maybe. But that's that. So thanks for watching this video. If you have liked it, I'm going to do some more. I think I'm going to do some Chaos Warriors at some point, and also some maybe Dark Oath Savages. Quite like those, so stay tuned to watch those. Of course, if you have liked the video, please give it a thumbs up, and of course, if you haven't already, please subscribe. It all helps the channel grow. I'm now going to put this little boy onto a turntable so you can see him as he spins round for a couple of minutes. And as always, thanks very much, and I shall see you soon.